Hi guys, in this review we're taking a look at a pretty special keyboard. This may look like a bog standard Fujitsu Peerless keyboard, but not exactly. I'll get to that in a bit. I previously did have an Epson Q303A, which this looks exactly the same, although I did sell that one. I wasn't very fond of the key feel. It was very inconsistent because I tried completely disassembling it and cleaning it up, but this is where things start to turn the tables. You might be like, what are those? Tell me more. This is not an Epson Q203A, but a very rare Q303A. And take a look at the low serial. There's a reason why I decided to pick up this keyboard when I saw it, even though, besides my FXC, this is the most expensive vintage keyboard I've bought. So here's what these rare switches look like. They sort of look like Peerless, but they're also very different, and of course they sound different. Actually, I think it's this one where part of the switch can come out because one of the insides is broken, so we can actually get a look at it. Actually, it's like that bottom part of the clip came off, which is actually a good thing because I can show you the switch. This is known as Fujitsu lever action or vertical plate springs, because that's, I guess, kind of what it is. So here's the top part, top housing, and this black part is the bottom housing. And then inside we have the slider and a little coil spring. And the contacts, I think I can zoom in here, I'm gonna need it. The contacts are in this vertical switch plate like thing in Alps. However, how this works, I'm pretty sure, is the coil spring pushes down on this. Okay, I'm just now doing this for the first time. Alright, let's see if I can show y'all. There's a small tactile bump when the circuit is closed. However, these switches, they're pretty good, but they're very interesting and funny at the same time. They're very linear feeling, with a tactile bump that's like so small, and also, if you can hear, they're very faintly clicky, but in typing you cannot really hear it at all. I think the click is quieter than Peerless themselves, but in reality they're more of a very nice linear switch. I guess they're sort of like that Alps switch plate thing that they have, but although I think you can feel it more on this one. But they're very nice switches. They're very consistent and very smooth. And you know, when I got the board, all the switches were working, although it was extremely dirty. So I cleaned it up. I'm gonna say lazy brighted the case and spacebar, and what I mean by lazy brighted is like just put them outside in the sun, which will reduce some of the yellowing, which it looks so much better now. So yeah, that is how these switches work. They are pretty rare, but they are pretty nice. They're like a hybrid between Fujitsu leaf springs and Fujitsu Peerless. I'm not sure why they decided to move on with these, or why they decided to move on with Peerless instead of these. Because imagine all those Peerless boards would have these instead. These would be an instant hit, though. They are very nice. For the keycaps, you just kind of take them off like you would for Space Invaders caps, like to the side. I just did a second ago. They're the same thin die-sub PBT as on Peerless boards. And yes, they are cross-compatible. Although, these caps I did swap from a Peerless board because the original caps on these were pretty worn, and although those did have the brown legends, these were in much nicer condition, even though these have the normal black legends. So I decided to swap them over. And of course, you can still find the Peerless boards, at least the Epson Q303As, in the browns anyway, so it's not like I really messed up anything. So yeah, they still had the nice double die-sub blue legends on the numpad, which is a nice touch. The spacebar is the same on Peerless boards, meaning that it has, you know, the tension spring, so that's very well stabilized. And for the rest of the keys, it does use the same rod stabilizer system as on the Peerless boards, but these are nowhere near as bad, thankfully, as with binding. All these actually work pretty fine, which, yeah, makes this board more reasons which make this board well worth it. I'll throw up a picture of this, but my absolute favorite thing about this board is the curved PCB this thing has inside. I'm like, what? I've never seen that before in any keyboard. That is just super cool. On the back you have these flip out feet, but sometimes, well, this board is, for example, they're like so stuck that you have to like pinch the legs in just so you can like flip it up. Although that is one little annoyance that I have with this thing. Taking it apart is pretty easy. I think it's, yeah, 3 screws and the top case can just like come right off. It has an SDL cable, just like the Model M. It is compatible. A short coiled cable with a 5-pin DIN plug on the end, with a 90-degree connector with the Epson logo. It's a very Epson thing that they did on a lot of these. But yeah, another Fujitsu W for this thing. But finishing off, this is a very cool, rare, and special keyboard, and it sounds wonderful. Like, the switches are very smooth and very nicely weighted to type on. I mean, this thing is a home run in my book. And that will conclude it for this video, so thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and that'll be it for this one.